What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a very special stream. Today we are finally going to be flying Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Unfortunately, I didn't get to get an early start on this and fly it right out of the gate like most streamers and other flight simmers out there because my system just would not run this with enough frame rates where I could record it. So I actually ended up upgrading my computer and getting the new i9, and we are running this flawlessly. The game does have some performance issues, but it looks absolutely amazing. So we're going to be flying in the A320neo from Oakland Metropolitan Airport down to LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. This is a real flight that is done by Spirit, and as you can see, we got the Spirit livery, however you want to announce. But as you can see there, it does look pretty freaking awesome. There's no traffic right now. I have it completely turned off. But we'll explore some features of this game, or simulator I should say, as we adventure through time with Flight Sim 2020. So without further ado, let's hop right into the cockpit and start getting this plane set up. So we will go ahead and first connect to our external power, turn our batteries on, we'll turn on all of our fuel pumps, and then we are going to turn on our nav and logo light. Now that we have battery connected, and then we will go ahead and get our APU started. And really that's all that we got to do for our setup in the overhead panel. And then next we are going to hop down into our FMC and go ahead and get this thing set up. So we'll go to initialization. We're going to be going from KOAK to KLAX. Punch that in there. You can hear that APU spooling up. Our cost index today is 8. Cruise altitude 36,000. We're going to go 35. 350. We're going to change our call sign to flight number 1848. Zero fuel weight. I don't believe that is our zero fuel weight. Empty weight is that seems a little bit weird. Our CG is 22.71. Oh geez. 50.2, we'll put that back there, dash 22.71. Our block fuel today is 12.3. And we don't need to really set up any of that other stuff. Alright, so then we'll go into our flight plan and we'll get all of this set up. So we are going to be flying from Oakland on the, we're going to be doing runway 30, so we'll select that first. And we're doing the Candle 4, I believe that's what that departure is, Candle 4 to eBay. And we'll insert that. And then we'll just check that. LAX here, we're going to go arrival. We're going to put ILS 25 left. And we're doing the Ironman 2 arrival. Ironman 2 via... Okay, let me just take a look at Navigraph real quick here and see. Let's do no vias. And we're doing... Oops, it was actually there already. So I'll go ahead and put that in again. Ironman 2. Psychos is far out. Culper, where is that on this chart? Don't know. You know what? We'll put Circus in there. Insert, and then if we look through our flight plan now, if we go to plan mode, and we'll bring our range up to 40 here, and we'll just step through this. There's going to be a lot of waypoints there, but let's zoom in a little bit. And we'll go back through it. And it looks perfect. So we can go ahead and put this back to arc, and then we will put probably about 20 for our initial takeoff. Okay, so our flight plan is good. Our performance, let's pull up our performance charts. I would like to be flying this on VATSIM, but unfortunately the frame rates are complete garbage as soon as you connect vPilot. So until they get that fixed, which they are aware of, until they get that fixed, we are not going to be doing any flying with VATSIM on Flight Sim 2020. So we're still going to be doing some flights with, I don't know why this isn't taken, with X-Plane, because we want to use VATSIM. So I guess we're supposed to just say that these are correct, because it's not letting me change that stuff. So obviously these planes are not modeled 100% accurate. For example, you can only switch between engine and fuel. You can't, all of this stuff is inoperable. Okay, so we got our flaps setting, which is flaps 1.3 is our, so we're doing 1. And apparently the THS doesn't work either, so that's not to worry about. And then we'll take off temp 67. And we're pretty much good to go at this point. So the only thing that we need to do is we'll go to flight plan here. Let's go ahead and squawk VFR. Alright. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at our charts one more time for our departure. You know what, actually, let's just go ahead and set this straight up to our cruise altitude because we're not going to be having any ATC controls, so we'll kind of let it do its thing. We'll put on our flight directors and we'll go ahead and get ready to taxi on out. So we are at gate 7, so we're going to have a pretty short taxi over we're going to go Tango, Uniform, Whiskey, and then we'll take up from Whiskey 1 on runway 30. Let me get our METAR real quick and just make sure that I got everything we need. This is about an hour-long flight. I forgot the complete distance on it. So altimeter is 299.0, so we'll go ahead and put that in there. And at this point, we're good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and request pushback, and I have the sounds muted because I don't really want to request pushback. And we'll arm our spoilers, we'll release our parking brake, and we'll get that pushback going. Alright, so while they're pushing us back, we are going to go ahead and turn on our beacon light. And we'll get the engines to start, ignition, and we'll do engine number 2 on. And we'll just call it there. We'll set our parking brake, and that should tell them we're done. No, it did not. He's still trying to push us back. And I'm hoping that you guys can hear everything alright. This is the first stream with Flight Sim 2020, so if everything is sounding good or not, we can adjust it accordingly. But we got engine number 1 started up, so we'll go ahead and get engine number 2 started. We'll go flaps 1. And we are just about ready to go out of here. What's going on, Extreme Gamer? Thanks for joining. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good as well. I just realized when you dropped the chat that I was actually talking on mute, so I'm not sure how long I've been on mute, but I will be right back. I need to plug in my flight pedals because I cannot steer the plane. Alright, so now we should be good, so let's just double check that we've got control of our rudder. Yep, and we do. So it's pretty crazy how intensive this game is as far as performance requirements. I mean, I had an i7 before, i7 6700K with an AMD RX 5700, and I could not even get any decent frames over 20, and then attempting to record while doing it, I mean, it was rough. So I pulled the trigger on getting an upgrade to an i9 10900K, which cost me a pretty penny, but it was definitely worth it. And now I can bring the streams to YouTube and enjoy the flight sim. Right now I'm running about 20 FPS, which is crazy for how powerful of a CPU I have, but it is what it is. So the nice part is we're going to be taking off flying towards Oakland downtown area. I would say that this wouldn't really be a good way to learn to fly in real life. It certainly is going to help you. You know, if you're flying in like say a 172 or something that you would typically fly, or even the 152, maybe it can get you the foundations, but and the familiarization with the cockpit. Like when I was doing my flight training, having so much time in Flight Simulator, I was pretty familiar with the 172 cockpit. So when I was, like I said, when I was doing my flight training, the instructor didn't have to show me or teach me as much as he would have to teach someone that had never stepped foot in an airplane, even though that was at the time my first time ever being in a small aircraft. I still knew what I was looking for, and was still a little more familiarized with how things work. So I guess in that sense, yes, it could help teach you how to fly, but the handling of the plane, I mean, you just don't get the same feeling as being around, and of course the field of view. I mean, when you're sitting in a plane, obviously you can see a lot more than what you can see just on this screen. I mean, your peripheral vision, you're gonna see a whole lot. So from that aspect of it, it's not the same. The feeling of it isn't exactly the same. We're gonna go ahead and real quick get our APU turned off. Actually, we're gonna turn on our landing lights, and then I believe we are good to go. So just double check. We're gonna turn our ignition selector to normal. Flaps are set to 1. Speed brake is armed, and we're good to go. So let's go ahead and get rolling out of here. And final does look clear. Don't have any traffic enabled right now because I wanted to get better visuals rather than eat frame rates up with traffic. Alright. And we'll go into Toga. Our V1 speed's actually 150, so there we go. The plane's already wanting to rotate. Alright, positive rate, gear up. And we're gonna go ahead and arm autopilot already. Flaps go up. We'll get external view for you guys while the autopilot's going, just so. Okay. We need to set this to climb. Alright, now we'll go into external. Definitely has some pretty amazing visuals. I mean, that's undeniable. What they've done with this simulator is truly amazing. Looks like you got Air Force Base there. Alright, so we'll hop back in the cockpit here. So we're going to go up to 3,500. But yeah, like I was saying, as far as being familiarized with the controls of the plane, yes. I think you should definitely invest a little bit of time in the simulators and just familiarize yourself with how things function, and then get that real world training, knowing what all of your different instruments are and what they do. And don't hop into a Cessna 172 on the simulator with a G1000 in it, because I mean you're not going to get flight training in a plane like that unless you go to some really expensive flight school. Alright, so that's 10,000 feet. We're going to turn off our landing lights. Oops, there we go. And the plane's going to get up to its cruise speed. And then it's going to go ahead and continue climbing. So this plane does a pretty good job of managing everything from that aspect of the flying. Bring our range out a little bit more. Alright, man, well, thanks for joining. We'll be on here for about an hour, so we got about an hour to go. no idea how long I've been talking on mute. I gotta stop pressing that button because I always forget to turn that off or turn it back on. Absolutely amazing views that you get with this simulator, though. I guess we would be rocking quite a bit with a direct crosswind like that. We got a... How much of a crosswind is that? Oh, just a 3-knot crosswind. That's not too bad. So we still got a pretty good ways to go. On our flight, we're well before our top of climb, or at least the planned top of climb. So at Crowley, though, we need to, which is over 120 nautical miles away, we are going to begin our, well we need to be at about flight level 270 there, so we'll probably begin our descent around here. I am actually going to go ahead and put in the lower altitudes, and the plane's going to manage itself down to those altitudes. I mean, I can't get over the views. I mean, that's truly amazing. I mean, that looks like, aside from whatever the heck is going on right here, I mean, it's like looking out of the wing of a real airplane. I mean, that is stunning. Oh, that's cool. Look at the reflection on the cockpit window when I was moving around. I mean, there's so many small things that they've done. It would be nice to be able to connect to VATSIM and have some online radio coverage, because that definitely makes the streams a whole lot better and more interesting when you have controllers controlling the airspace, other pilots talking. So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to fly with VATSIM on Microsoft Flight Simulator, but right now it's just not feasible to do that. I can be getting 60 FPS, and then as soon as I connect XPilot, it drops me down to like 14 FPS. So they gotta get that fixed. Supposedly it has something to do with the SimLink connecting, and supposedly it's neither Microsoft Flight Simulator or VPilot. Welcome back, Extreme Gamer. Appreciate you joining back. So let's go into here, progress. We're at cruise. ATC is going to manage that. Which it looks like it is doing. Seems like it's a bit early. Let's level it off. We'll keep it at 33,000 and then I guess I'm not gonna change the altitude until we get to probably do it, or however you would say that. Right before do it, we'll change it down to 25,000 and then the plane will begin its descent down. We'll continue with the external views. That's awesome. Another thing that's pretty cool about this sim is they've got basically like little missions that you can do, which I haven't tried any of those out, but I'll probably do some videos on those as well. I just can't get over how visually amazing this simulator looks. So I know that you can fly with lightning and stuff. I don't know how the storms affect the planes, but I'm pretty sure that you know, if you were to fly into like a hurricane or something, that probably you shouldn't fly into realistically in real life. I mean, I think it's going to affect the handling capabilities of a plane. I mean, you can see even right now, just with the slight crosswind, the plane is got a little bit of the wing rock where it's bouncing. I don't know if lightning necessarily would be able to cause a failure in the simulator, but I know you can set up some predetermined failures. Which I'll have to look into that. I've never actually really done any type of failures, so to speak, with any flight simulation. I pretty much fly it like it's going to fly 95% of the time or more absolutely perfectly with no issues. So I'm going to bring this arc range down a bit. So we are about 40 miles, 40 nautical miles from where I'm going to set the descent altitude. Yeah, so the other thing that, I mean, without the ATC coverage, I mean, it really doesn't leave for much of an entertaining flight, at least not in my early stages of being a YouTuber. I mean, it's just not anything to talk about, but I do appreciate you keeping the conversation going here. I have not tried out any other simulators. I did see that on the Xbox Game Pass for PC they have Train World Simulator, so I thought about trying that out. But at least on this channel so far, I've strictly just been doing, flight simulation. Mostly on X-Plane. 99% of it has been on X-Plane. This is literally the first video that I've done on any other simulator, although it is still a flight simulator. But I was thinking about doing some train simulation. That would be kind of cool. Really, with work, I just have very little time to actually even enjoy, this simulator. This is actually the first flight that I've done with my new processor, like full flight, location to location, and really before I didn't even do any flights just because the frame rates were so bad. It was enjoyable, to say the least. It would be interesting to do some crazy multiplayer stuff and just see what the heck goes on at some of these busy airports. But I really don't know what that's going to do to my frame rates either. And quite frankly, I can't afford to buy a 2080 Ti right now, so. What simulator are you referring to? Didn't even know there was actually a thing for bus simulators, but I guess. I think a boat simulator would be kind of cool, but there wouldn't be anything to do. Especially if you're doing like a transatlantic. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set our altitude down now. Whoa, why did that change? Can we set this back to thousands? There we go. We're gonna go with 25,000, which is right in the middle. I'm gonna take a look at that real quick and see what that is about. I wonder how that would be. Tourist bus simulator. I actually used to play 18 Wheels of Steel Across America back in the day. It's a trucking simulator. I would like to buy a steering wheel and do some of that as well. That'd be kind of cool. I think the bus simulator is probably going to be pretty similar to that. American Truck Simulator. Alright, so the plane has now begun its descent, it looks like. As it should. Well, not quite. There we go. Alright, so let's take a look at the approach chart. Where did I have it? There we go. Approach. So Crowley, we're going to be 250, which is actually too low, so we're going to go 270. Crowley. Muppet. Let's go into our flight plan too. 27500. I wonder if we can just out of curiosity, let's set this down to 18,000 and see what happens. I think it's gonna manage everything how it should. Engaged managed mode. Engage selected mode. So Muppet, we need to be 250. And we have to be at 280 at that point. So let's check here. 280. So it already knows. And the plane is planning to have us at 250. Not too far out of LAX, and LAX is actually one of the handcrafted airports, so should have a little bit of a treat here. Not sure what you mean by that. We should actually get a good view of LA on this descent. Alright, so the next one, well, let's see what the FMC says. 22,000. I don't know if you're trying to share another YouTuber's page, but if you are, I'm pretty sure that Streamlabs and YouTube blocks that kind of stuff. Let's bring this in a little bit more. MDOS we need to be at, grips we need to be at 21,000. Viking, we're gonna be at 18,000. let's get our METAR from LAX real quick. So wind is 280 at 6, 10 miles visibility, few clouds, temperature 21, dew point 14, altimeter is 2989er. Running, we want to be 15,500, so we'll go 15,000. Ironman, we're going 14,000. We should likely get some good views of downtown LA with the approach that we're doing. Alright, there's 15,000, so we need to go 14,000. I wonder if I set this to 9,000, will it? It seems like it just picked up the descent rate like crazy, but let's see if it... I think it's gonna manage. How it needs to. 2989er, we need to go ahead and set that though. So let's see what happens here. We're gonna be at base, so let's see if it tries to break through that. What it should do is 12,500. Awesome. So let's actually, what we can do then, since FMC is gonna manage everything, we'll go ahead and put in our, basically our approach altitude, which is gonna be 2,000 feet. Or we're going to capture the ILS. So we'll put that into 2,000 and then let the plane do its thing. And we will just enjoy these views. I forgot we had this map so you guys can see also a little bit of what we're doing here. So this is the approach that we're doing. pretty amazing. So I believe LA is right down here. So let's actually just maintain 10,000. Because this is kind of jacked up actually. Now that I'm looking at the plan here. Because you can see it says Gata we're going to be 6,000, but then all of a sudden Cyrus we're going to be 3. So let's fix this a little bit. And maybe what we can do is let's get rid of the Cyrus waypoint. We'll go straight Crane. And I can't do that. Okay, so you can't switch waypoints that way. So I guess what we'll do is, let's see, Fuller, if we look at the chart here, Fuller we want to be at 7,000, so let's go, we'll turn in at gate. So if we were to change this to gate is 5,000. And then we can just give ourselves vectors to gate. So the runway heading, let's figure that out, it's 243. $251 actually. So 90 of that is going to be we're gonna go landing lights on now, and you can actually see, I believe that is downtown LA right there. Maybe. It's kind of hard to tell. So the thing about this simulator is everything has to download and render, so it's not all just loaded in, ready to go. So there is Basically, that's the airport right there. It's gotta be downtown LA right there. But it looks kind of weird when we zoomed in on it. So you can see things are kind of populating. As we're flying here. What in the world is this thing doing? Okay. We are gonna go heading mode. And we're going to turn our base now. And let's bring it down to 3,000. And we're going to go for Honda, I think is what we're aiming for. So how about this? Let's go direct Honda right now. We're cutting it short. Alright, well that's not doing that. So let's go next phase. Approach. 29er point 89er. Temperature is 21. The wind is 280 at 6. Transition is 18,000. Minimum decision height is 100 feet. Well, it's actually 204. The minimum decision is 540. Alright, oh, we got that in there. We're gonna let this thing loop around and we'll capture the localizer. This is honestly probably going to be a terrible approach. What is that waypoint? Lima. Maybe about 1900. It might work out for us though. So this is definitely not a typical approach that would be done, but screw it. Alright, well this thing is being very strange. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go gear down. And we're just going to turn the autopilot off and hand fly this in now. And really that's not any fault of the simulator. That's just a poor approach on my part. One thing I will say though, for a simulator, you would think that you would want to have the airports loaded in early enough where I'm still not getting a full rendering. Like I can't even see Pappy lights. What in the heck is that? That was wonky. It's like I had a wing stall. And everything's frozen, so I don't know what's going on. That was like the strangest thing that I've. It was like the wing stalled right at the last second. Fortunately, we can't watch a replay of that, but I'm 95% certain that's exactly what just happened. I've noticed that too when I let the plane auto land. I don't run into issues with that happening. But as soon as I take over, it's almost like I get an immediate wing stall, which is so strange. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LAX. We're just gonna find a gate over here and park it, and we'll conclude the stream so I can go get some food. Oddly enough, that was a still a relatively decent landing as far as the touchdown rate. We're gonna go park next to this other yellow looking plane. Overshot that a slight bit. Alright, well, we've made it almost on the line, and we're straight, so we're here safely on the ground. This airport does look pretty cool as far as one of their handcrafted airports. It would be nice to see Atlanta, being the busiest airport in the world, is one of the handcrafted ones, but unfortunately it's not. So let's go ahead and just kill the plane. Engines. Don't have the APU on, but that's alright. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed that stream. I know it was a little bit different than typical. Usually I have VATSIM on there, but it was fun flying the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Definitely will be doing some more flight videos. I think until we can get some VATSIM, I'm going to stick with probably doing some VFR stuff, checking out areas like downtown LA, Atlanta, New York, and maybe even doing some of the different landing missions. But there's really just not a whole lot that goes on as far as what happens in the flight. And I just have a love for VATSIM and all the different planes that I have on X-Plane. So we'll continue doing our IFR long distance flights on X-Plane, and we'll stick to doing some VFR stuff here on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Either way, thanks for joining in to the stream, especially Extreme Gamer. I know you stuck around pretty much the whole entire thing, so shout out to you for that. Until next time, this is Josh, the Limitless Pilot.